Hello and welcome to Football Now, a new football YouTube channel running you through the upcoming weekend of fixtures in the Premier League, running you through the betting odds and giving our own predictions. I'm joined by Connor. We're on our 10th and final game of the weekend. Connor, how are you doing?
I'm a bit sad actually. I've got so used to talking to you about all things football and trying to make us a few quid, and this is the end until next weekend.
That's it. Until next week, we're going to do it all over again. This one is going to centre on Nottingham Forest's home game to Burnley at 7:45 on Monday evening, live on Sky Sports. Just looking at the form now, Forest not had a bad start. Like before the international break, picked up a 1-0 away win to Chelsea, their second consecutive season in the Premier League. Connor, what have you made of them so far?
I've been really impressed actually from Forest. I mean, you look at the table there, top half of the table. Now, what you've got to look at there is if you look at the teams that they faced. They faced Arsenal at the Emirates, Chelsea at the Bridge, Manchester United at Old Trafford. Were very unlucky to not get anything there actually. So they've had a really, really difficult start to the season. So to get was it 6 points on the board last season was always going to be a struggle for Steve Cooper when you bring in so many players, but it was just about staying in the Premier League. I think now, I mean, they've brought in a few players still, but I think now Steve Cooper is a tremendous manager. Can really, really look at moving Nottingham Forest forward. And we'll put the odds on the screen now. I think Nottingham Forest is 6-5 to get the victory. I actually think there's value in that because, like I said, I think they've had a really good start to the season in difficult fixtures. Last season they were just imperious at the City ground. Their home form definitely saved them. You talk about making it your home ground a fortress. Steve Cooper and Nottingham Forest did exactly that. And Burnley, one of only two teams to not pick up a point this season. I think, I do worry for Burnley actually because if you look at their upcoming fixtures, actually, I mean, they're really, really difficult. And you start off by this one, they would have been looking at this fixture and thinking Nottingham Forest started well at the City ground. This is not a place that we really want to go to when we're not in good form. Then after that, you've got Man United, then Newcastle away, and then they've got Luton, which is going to be a really, really crucial game. And then they've got Chelsea, and then they've got Brentford away. They're really, really difficult run of fixtures when you've not got any points on the board. I don't see Burnley sort of changing their fortunes in this game. I think Steve Cooper and Forest are just a little bit too shrewd for that. I think it's been a bit of a rude awakening. I think Vincent Kompany is going to have to maybe look at the way he plays and adapt a little bit from the Championship. He did fantastic in the Championship. I didn't think he would do as well as he did. He did absolutely phenomenal. But I'm going to put my hand up and say this. I actually did say Vincent Kompany before the season would be sacked by Christmas because I really worried about, number one, their start to the season, the fixtures that they had, and also just the way they play. I think would Kompany adapt to the way you have to adapt in the Premier League when you've just come up? It'll take a lot of work. And I mean, look at that, absolutely rock bottom of the table. I know they played one less game, but you'd be looking at Nottingham Forest before the season and thinking, this is the fixture really that we'll be looking at. Maybe we'll get a few points in this game, but I don't think they will. I think 6-5 is the value there for Nottingham Forest, and I would be surprised actually if Forest was to capitulate.
Yeah, before we talk to Burnley, I'm looking at the business that Forest have done this season. Like you said, they haven't gone quite as hard as they did last year, where they bought practically a whole new squad. They brought in Ibrahim Sangare for 35 million euros, I believe that is, from PSV. 25-year-old Anthony Elanga, 21-year-old from Manchester United. Chris Wood as well, a very Premier League experienced striker from Newcastle. And somewhere down there is Divock Origi as well on loan, who's still a Liverpool fan. Can't help
Absolutely iconic, isn't it? I tell you what, if you want to let it go, you bring him on. He's going to bag it.
Exactly. He's got goals in him galore. And like we've mentioned, again, it's like a broken record. If you want to stay up, which I think is still the aim for Forest this year, is get that stability. We know how difficult the second season can be. Sometimes you need goals. And you look at that now with Origi, like I said, Chris Wood has got goals in him. Other players are all around the squad. Just going to get the squad up now. And also the home form is something else that we've spoken about. They've really made a fortress of that City ground. It's a difficult place to go. When it's bouncing in there, there aren't too many who won't be deterred by that.
Yeah, absolutely. I think if if Burnley are going to be buoyed by anything, they did meet at the end of August at the City Ground in the EFL Cup, and Burnley ran out 1-0 winners. It's a bit different, obviously in the cup, you don't play your starting 11s, and it's just a bit of a different feel. Also, playing midweek, a bit of a different feel as well. But I think, I don't think that will worry Nottingham Forest fans, and I also don't think Burnley are going to look too far into it. Different competition, completely different game. You're going to be playing different players, but at least it gives Burnley that experience, because we talk about how the City Ground can be an equaliser, and you've got that crowd behind Nottingham Forest there. So they've already got experience. They know what to expect. So at least they'll be walking into it without any surprises. But it is going to be difficult, and if Burnley can get anything from this, it can be a platform for them to really kick on, because there's not pressure on Forest. I mean, if they lose this game, it's they'll be disappointed, but they've had a great start to the season. They're not going to be worried. Whereas I think no matter who Burnley are facing now, with every loss, the pressures could be piled on and on. Because even at this early stage of the season, when you're sitting rock bottom with LLL next to your name, it can make you panic just a little bit.
Yeah, they shipped 5 goals last time out as well to Tottenham, 5-2 home defeat. Played all 3 of their home games, all three of their games, at home so far. Of course, the game with Luton away at Kenilworth Road was postponed due to the issues with the stadium.
Yeah.
Look, City, Villa, and Spurs. They're not, again. I don't think they're the games that Burnley would have been targeting at the start of the season to take points from. But I also think if you are to survive, you do need to pick up points, a few points here and there against those top of the table.
And it's the performances as well. I mean, they've conceded 3 goals at least 3 goals rather in every single game that they've played this season in the Premier League. That's a concern, and I think when you look at teams who do come up and stay up, they don't stay up because of the goals they score. They stay up because they can plug mistakes at the back, and they can really make it difficult to break down. I mean, I know Spurs have played well this season, and they've started well under Ange Postecoglou, but scoring 5 goals without Harry Kane and still acclimatising to a new look attack is it'll be worrying. It'll be worrying. But they did beat Forest in the cup. They can be buoyed by that. But this is a huge game, and actually, I think it's going to be one of the most important games of the season, arguably. When you look back on it, that even at this early stage, if Burnley was to go 4 losses to kick off the season, there'll be panic stations, and you can't not panic at that.
Yeah, I'm just looking at the goals scored by their players so far. The 2 forwards, Lyle Foster's got 2 goals in his opening 3 games, which I think is a positive for Burnley fans to take. But their new signing, Zeki Amdini, who was signed from Basel for 18 million euros in the summer, is yet to get on the score sheet in the opening 3 games. Again, a broken record. We said this about all the other sides, but you need goals if you're going to stay in this league. Do Burnley have? They got Sander Berg, who's a good signing in midfield.
Yeah.
They brought a few good names in. James Trafford as well, young keeper, did well for England under 21s when they won the Euros in the summer, saving the penalty in the final. Aaron Ramsey from Villa as well. But again, you just can't help and look
Jacob Ramsey. Aaron Ramsey. He should be on my brain.
Yeah, it's been a long night.
It's been a long night.
But yeah, again, where are the goals? I think that's the worry, isn't it?
Yeah, and it's not only where are the goals, but you've also got to plug them at the back. But it's under the lights. Monday night you could be really up for it. Nottingham Forest. I'm not going to say they're going to be complacent. They haven't shown any sign that they are going to be complacent even last season, but they'll be relaxed, which can help, or it can be a bit of a detriment. If you're too relaxed, because I expect Burnley to hit hard, because they're going to know that they'll need points. So it could be actually one of the games of the weekend, just because that they're, how important it is. It could develop into one of the games of the weekend to top off the weekend.
We've got the odds on screen. What's your prediction, Connor, for this game, final game of the weekend?
Unfortunately for Burnley fans, I do think Nottingham Forest at the City Ground, with the start that they've had, is going to be too strong. I think Burnley are going to give it a good go. I don't think Nottingham Forest are going to run away with it. But I do think Forest are just going to edge it 2-1. And I'm going to say Divock Origi, 92nd minute.
Yeah, I'm going to go 1-0 Forest as well. I'm going to back them to get the clean sheet. That does conclude all of our previews for this weekend's fixtures. Check out the rest on the channel of all the other games. Let us know your own opinions in the comments too. And we'll see you next week to see how many we got right or wrong.
See you next week, guys. Don't expect a whole lot right.